Hello everybody, this is Joey from TheChartGuys. I've been trading for 7 years and learning under Dan for 6 of them. Ended up stalking him and coming down to North Carolina, and now I live about 20 minutes away from him. And I am honored to be here to talk to you all on such a huge day for Bitcoin. Obviously, everybody tuning in now knows the ETFs have been approved. The whole fleet of them got approved. They're going to start trading tomorrow. And obviously a new paradigm for Bitcoin. And more exciting for the bulls is that we didn't get a massive sell the news event. And with that, we, at this point, haven't really gotten a buy the news event either. It's the third option that it seems everybody slept on, where not a whole ton changes. So with that, and this is talking with Bitcoin, we've certainly got some changes in the space, largely Ethereum getting a big old pump. And the question with that is, is this front running now an Ethereum ETF? The fundamentals will shake out how they shake out, but all we know now is that Ethereum is certainly seeing strength that it hasn't seen in a good little bit here. So looking at Bitcoin, if we don't have buy the news, we don't have sell the news, then what can we lean on? We can just lean on our TA. And as you can imagine from the chart guys, that's always going to be our approach with it. So bigger picture, as we've been saying, as long as weekly 12 EMA is support, then Bitcoin bulls are absolutely fine. So there's been talk of the potential for a 6-month lower high, which is certainly still remains, but that's not going to shape up at all. If we don't lose the weekly 12 EMA, there would have to be a big shift in how things are right now. And we'll see if anything changes tomorrow with these ETFs all beginning to trade. We'll find out, but the one thing that we will know what to do in terms of evaluating this stuff is that the same parameters we've been talking about for over a week now of are our back burners hitting? Are we keeping uptrends? And are we seeing rotation in the space? And right now, today, is just massive rotation in the space. Bitcoin is just chilling. And if we look at Bitcoin dominance, we can see this is a big old drop down, and it's the ideal drop down for crypto bulls because it shows that Bitcoin is underperforming, but that's not because Bitcoin is dropping faster than alts. That's because alts are playing some catch up and getting some bounces. So at the same time, we're seeing this dominance chart drop. If we go over to our ratio watch list, it's a little different now because we just got the new daily candle, but at 6:59, this was all green. So we're seeing these alt ratio charts bounce, seeing these alt charts get their bounces underway, and that's where we stand right now. So let's go to Bitcoin. Let's see, that's the wrong watch list. Let's go to Bitcoin and break down what we've got here at this point. So for the intermediate guide, I'm liking the 12-hour uptrend. After that sucker punch from last Wednesday, we had the 12-hour EQ, broke up to new highs, and we have a 12-hour higher low set now at 44,300. And as long as that support, bulls maintain absolute control. That's also a little daily higher low trying to shape on up here. Bulls will need to break the high of today, or high of Wednesday's candle on this Thursday candle if they want it to be a daily higher low, and anticipating potential for this 12-hour to tighten up here because it is a pretty big range. So within that 12-hour, we've got a nice hourly uptrend to be watching, and hourly consolidation just getting underway now at this point. So anything over 44.8K going to be an hourly higher low on this consolidation, and we'll see, do bulls hold the EMA and leave getting up to higher highs in the cards on the hourly chart, or do we pull back more and potentially shape up that 12-hour lower high? So as far as a short-term guide for this hourly consolidation, we've got a 5-minute downtrend, and that is that. So in the end, after all of the hullabaloo and the fake outs, and this is another thing. I don't know if this lack of a reaction on Bitcoin is a result of the fake headline yesterday maybe kind of took some of the wind out of the sails, or if it's just like massive psyops, as one of the members in the chart guys, Fly, had mentioned kind of jokingly, but also who freaking knows these days. So Bitcoin, not a lot changing on the charts, and bulls will absolutely take that with how many people, including myself, were certainly looking for a sell the news. I had big old plan thinking we're going to get a spike up and I'm going to take a stair step short and it'll be a sell the news and all this and that. And in chat, we were just kind of, the news came out and we're looking at it and we're like, what gives? Nothing's really going on. And this you can see in here, looking into chat. Everybody's been all over it in here for quite some time. All of the activity right when it starts going. And it's really so fortunate to have such a group of individuals because, like, as you all know now at this point, I'm not a fundamental guy. I don't like digging into it. I don't like following it. But we've got a bunch of people here who have been on top of this every step of the way. And now we're here. So we'll see where things go from here. Is this now the start of ETF headlines for Ethereum? Is trading for Bitcoin going to change now that we have these ETFs and all this other money that is going to be influencing price? Are we going to see a mega run as all of these funds now have the green light to get their underlying coins to back up their ETFs? We don't know. We'll have to follow the charts and find out, and we're going to be watching trends and backburners. That is the whole shtick here. So at this point, hourly consolidation, we'll see what we get. We'll check back in later in the stream. Let's move on to the star of the show, Ethereum. And we broke to clear higher highs. We're now at the highest prices since May 2022. And in the end, it ended up being right off weekly 12 EMA, continuing to those highs. So you can see why we're always saying, as long as weekly 12 EMA is support, then bulls are okay in the bigger picture. When we lose those, that'll be monthly consolidation. But ETH showing us how it's done, and ETH BTC showing that strength. And it came on a flush of the support that everybody was watching, and in daily oversold conditions, in weekly oversold conditions on the flush, and now we've got bulls seeing a huge V-shape from here. So the question will be, is this just a flash in the pan? Do we reject from weekly 12 EMA and Ethereum goes back to being relatively weak? Or can we get over the weekly 12 EMA for the first time in 6 months and see Ethereum kind of take the spotlight? So definitely a nice move, huge move, but we don't have to look far back to see what can happen if you don't get your trend changes on a move like this. It's epic off of the low, percentage-wise, 16% on the ratio chart. But we had a nice one back here in November, 14%, unable to get the daily trend change and unable to see follow through on that weekly bounce. So from here, we're looking for a daily higher low on ETH BTC. We're looking for a 4-hour higher low. And in the shorter term, I'm liking the 2-hour 12 EMA as the guide, since that's where our little lower low no follow through came off of. And we can just zoom in on further for further guides. Let's see. Yeah, I guess the 30-minute is still working. This was our guide the whole way up. And then once that was lost, that was 4-hour consolidation getting underway. But obviously, bulls V-shaped it from there. So let me compare it to the hourly, though. Yeah, I'm still kind of liking the 30-minute uptrend as the guide here for ETH BTC. And once that's lost, that'll be bears trying to get 4-hour consolidation underway again. And if they hold the EMA, then that is healthy. So got to see some trend changes on ETH BTC if we want this momentum to stick around. Definitely into an area with a lot of resistance on the ratio chart, but that is not the case on ETH USD area with a lack of resistance. So looking at ETH itself, we had a bit of a megaphone here that bulls were able to just blast right through. Pretty picturesque megaphone, and we cracked right through it. And after seeing an initial rejection at it, so very impressive for bulls, and that can be a potential location to look for a higher low. We've got nice hourly 12 EMA support here, and we'll be watching our backburners. Does 5-minute oversold mark an hourly higher low? If so, the show goes on. If it doesn't, then we'll zoom out. We'll look to 15-minute oversold, 4-hour 12 EMA, see if that marks a 4-hour higher low. And as long as the 4-hour uptrend is intact, then this daily move continues on ETH USD. So another big beneficiary of this is ETC USDT, Ethereum Classic, seeing a huge day yesterday from low to high, 31%. And this was a name that was lagging. We've just been basing out, not really participating with everybody else through 2023, but definitely playing some catch up now. And we've got a little resistance overhead at 27.23, and then a lack of resistance up until 42.39. So that's what we're looking at with Bitcoin and Ethereum. And say you want to be looking bearish on something, whether it be to hedge out some Bitcoin, to be an aggressive bear, to hedge out some Ethereum. We've got a lot of alts seeing nice moves off the low, but daily lower highs are still the most likely scenario on a whole slew of alts. So if we look at Matic, great move off of the double bottom, 25% nearly at this point, but still have anything under 103 as a daily lower high. So all of these names going to be similar structure. Going to be watching 4-hour uptrends as the guide as we scout potential daily lower highs. Sushi, another one with a lot of space for a daily lower high. I'd probably just be going off of 141. ICP, potential room for a daily lower high, not nearly as much room as peers, but not really participating as much as everybody else on this bounce here. APT, another one, tons of room for a daily lower high compared to 1110. We got Uni, same deal, anything below 772, daily lower high. AXS, bunch of room. Theta, bunch of room, barely even getting the daily bounce underway. XLM, bunch of room. And Ape, bunch of room. So if you're looking bear, those are your places that you're going to be looking for it. And if you're looking bull, which you can certainly be playing these names as potential laggards to see continuation of the daily bounce, because ETH, to be fair, was also looking for a daily lower high. But the main thing, if we're not going to get the most likely scenario, what's going to happen is we're typically going to have increasing bull volume. You got your increasing bull volume on the way up. That's what tells you to, okay, pump the brakes. Maybe the most likely scenario of the daily lower high is not shaping up. So we'll need to continue to evaluate volume on all of these names. LTC, another one where a daily lower high compared to 75.94 is definitely the most likely scenario unless we continue to see increasing bull volume. This last daily candle was pretty good, but looking around, it doesn't really stick out like a sore thumb by any means. So 4-hour uptrends as the guide while we scout daily lower highs on these alts that have room for it. Let's look at Sol. So Sol is looking for a potential weekly higher low. Bull's trying to shape it up, but definitely one of the weaker names here today. And if we look at Sol BTC, we can probably see that. And yeah, so this chart is not seeing too much of a move up. So still looking for a weekly higher low here as well, but got a little daily downtrend guide. And until that daily downtrend changes, Sol USDT is not going to be in the limelight there. So with this outside bar, I'm kind of preferring the 2-day time frame. And I'd say anything below 116.95 would be a 2-day lower high. And then bulls would want to see like a 2-day inverse head and shoulders to shape up a weekly higher low. So what else we got? ADA, very similar deal where, is this a little daily uptrend? I don't call it one. I typically do not designate outside bars as pivots in terms of trends. So when we've got something like that, I just zoom on out to the 2-day time frame. So anything below 63.70 going to be a 2-day lower high on ADA, and we're bouncing right from weekly 12 EMA here. So aggressive bears can be looking for the 2-day lower high, but now at this point with the size of the bounce, bulls have created enough room for a higher low to try for the trend change to get the weekly higher low set. So another thing with all of these alts, we want to continue to watch Bitcoin dominance because it's a huge pullback here, but it's very likely to find a daily higher low compared to this December 28th low. So alt bulls want to see BTCD continue to drop. And when it stops dropping, that could either be Bitcoin taking the torch back and seeing another leg to the upside and the alts just don't go as much, or it could be everything pulling back and the alts dropping more than Bitcoin. So always got to hammer down which of your 4 relationships you have on Bitcoin dominance. You have Bitcoin dominance up, Bitcoin dominance down, and then 2 versions on each side. So got to keep eyes on that. So ADA, let's get back here. We've got technically not a 4-hour uptrend, but 4-hour EMAs are crossing bullish, going to be looking for a 4-hour higher low compared to 48.72. And we have got an hourly stair step on the way up here. So 15-minute 12 EMA, and that is that. Let's look at Link. We know it's been weaker, but it's seen a pretty decent bounce off the low. Still wouldn't be shocked to see a daily lower high compared to 1603, but that's not going to shape up unless we lose the 4-hour uptrend. We've got a 4-hour uptrend here now. Last 4-hour higher low is 13,975. And on the note of evaluating these alts, we know we saw ETH go to higher highs. If we start to see more alts break daily lower highs when daily lower highs were the most likely scenario, then that shifts the odds for the alts that haven't done so yet. So that could tell you to be cautious as a bear, or maybe try an aggressive entry for an hourly or 15-minute higher low as a bull, looking for rotation to continue through the space. So ETC, talked about it, and it's still one of the greener charts here today on the fresh daily candle. Let's find a guide on this thing. So hourly stair step to the heavens. Let's see, what is that percentage move there? 31%, just crazy. So 15-minute hasn't touched the EMA in that whole move, and 5-minute. There's our guide at this point. So, and this is an example of the zoom out game, because I reckon this is 2-minute 12 EMA all the way up. And then when you lose that, you grab onto the 5-minute 12 EMA. So we'll zoom in, 2-minute 12 EMA all the way up. Once you lose that, you zoom out to the 5-minute, you ride the 5-minute as long as you can. Then you zoom out, you go to the 15, hourly, 4-hour. That's the zoom out game. And it's crazy. I don't know what kind of magic is in these EMAs, but you see it on all assets across all time frames, how the zoom out game works there. So let's see what else we got. Places for bulls to potentially be looking are these names with close proximity to blue skies. So we've got INJ, which is definitely relatively weak here today and not participating a whole ton. But when you're up near blue skies, that warrants some focus. So we have bulls confirming the weekly bull flag. And if we were to fall back down and lose 33, that would be a big old red flag, because then that would be a weekly bull flag confirmed without follow through. But for now, everything's still chill. And anything over 33 would be a daily higher low. And with this proximity to blue skies, definitely worth keeping an eye on. But the thing with INJ is you want to make sure that the ratio chart comes along if you're going to see all-time high follow through. So if we look at INJ BTC, we can see we've got bearish ratio divergence, where the USD pairing broke to new highs and the ratio did not. So we'll eventually need to see this ratio chart join, or else it's probably going to be a weekly higher high without follow through, and INJ would fall off of the scout list. So SEI also in proximity, close proximity to blue skies. We got nice daily 12 EMA support here, but also not seeing, I mean, percentage wise, good, because this thing is super volatile, but structurally didn't do a whole ton here today. So most important support is going to be 58 cents, and really just this 12 EMA. I care more about the 12 EMA than I care about specific levels, because we can say, all right, if we lose the low of Wednesday, 62.64, then that's a red flag. Well, yeah, you'll be beyond the EMA. So I'm going to drag my whole line up there. What else we got? TIA, another blue sky bull, daily higher low set at 12.49. That's going to be the most important support. And we've got a potential double top at all-time highs, 17.30, we'll call it. So bulls would like to see a daily cup and handle here, try to break that into blue skies. We got OP, USDT, nearing blue skies as well, and also another candidate for a potential cup and handle. If we were to reject from all-time highs, form a daily bull flag, that'd be another cup and handle. And RNDR definitely a bit further away and slots into the alts looking for a 2-day lower high category. Look at this outside bar here in proximity to the previous day and compare it to ADA. You'll see very similar. So that's why we're zooming out to the 2-day, and anything below this 508 would be a 2-day lower high. But recent RNDR is on Blue Sky Scout is because we're still holding that weekly 12 EMA. We're still bouncing from it, and it is not too far from those blue skies. So let's go back and check in on BTC, see how that hourly consolidation's looking. So bulls buying up the dip a little bit here, holding this EMA. Let's see if an hourly higher low is shaping up. So you can probably look at this as a potential inverse head and shoulders. You get your lower low without follow through. So you got your left shoulder, your head, and if we reject from 46.7K, pull back down, regain the 5-minute uptrend, that will be that hourly higher low shaping on up. So that is pretty much that at this point. Tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day, seeing how these ETFs trade, and for people with stock accounts, it's potentially going to be super sweet to be able to trade BTC without fees. You know, for day trading, obviously it will carry overnight risk because your hands are going to be locked up while Bitcoin itself continues to trade. But for day trading, it's going to be a game changer. So let's see what y'all are looking at. So T Blizzy, yeah, you know, Dan's out of town right now. He probably would have hopped on, but he is on vacation. Let's see what else we got. Bitcoin ETF and CPI same day. Coincidence, or could this be a major point like coin and previous top of Bitcoin, or short-term top? You know, that's a lot of speculation that we really won't be able to answer. All that we can do is let the charts guide the way. So it is important to acknowledge that CPI is tomorrow, and we could see some of broad market volatility bleed into Bitcoin. So that is going to be at 8:30 a.m. So keep eyes out for some volatility there. Let's see, SGN, SEI. It pretty much went over it there. SEI, as long as it's holding daily 12 EMA, then bulls are maintaining their control there. So not seeing a ton of upside here at this point. And if 88 were to be the top, we'd have to fall back down through this 62, 64. And that'd just be weekly consolidation getting underway. We'd still certainly be looking for a weekly higher low. And if the 12 EMA holds, then that would be healthy. Hello, Fat Nuts. I like your username. Nicola, can we get Dan? I want his insight. You know, if you go up to the snowstorms, you might be able to track him down, but there is no Dan available to stream right now. But, you know, he'll be back on for sure. He's not gone by any means. He's just enjoying the fruits of his labor as he's worked tirelessly for years at this point and really had fewer or less freedom of time than anybody I knew. So he's enjoying that right now. Chadwick calling for the dump. You know, if it's going to be a dump, backburners are going to fail. We're going to lose uptrends. We'll lose that 12-hour uptrend will be the first sign of like, okay, well, things are shifting on Bitcoin a little bit. But I mean, at this point, let's see how far away weekly 12 EMA is. So we could get a pullback of 13% and still be holding this weekly 12 EMA. And we know on Bitcoin, that's when the volatility really picks up. 13% isn't anything too crazy, but we'll just watch our trends. So this level at 44.30, 44.300 rather, that's what would need to be taken out if anything's about to shift on Bitcoin. Let's see, ETH/USD daily RSI is showing some divergence, says Greg Ferguson. Let's take a look at it. I really don't use much divergence in my trading. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're looking from back here, but as far as our recent pivots, we are not getting divergence. We had the RSI lower high of our most recent one there and the higher high on RSI here. So in general, RSI divergence is a pretty unreliable metric. Like it can play out sometimes, and other times it's just like, okay, well, bulls cooled off RSI for another leg up. So it's always that flip side with that RSI divergence. And many times tops will eventually come with RSI divergence, but if you look back, it's like the RSI diverged a bunch of times on the way up, and then when it finally tops it, folks who like RSI divergence a lot say, see, the RSI divergence did it. And it's like, yeah, well, how many inaccurate signals did that give you along the way? Let's see, we got a call for a move back down to 30K, slow bleed for the next few months. I'm open to it. I'm open to anything. I am open to anything, but if we're going to move back to 30K, we'll get the signs. We're going to lose some trends. And right now we're on uptrends, or in uptrends on all time frames. So got to go one step at a time. And if we start to lose them one step at a time, then that's when we'll start talking about this some more. Or if we start to see big bear volume come in, that's another thing that can kind of preface that something's awry. If we see a 15-minute pullback and just blast through this 12-hour higher low on high volume, then we could say, okay, well, there's some pretty serious bearish forces at play right now. So we'll just, as always, one step at a time. And it's good to have, or it's vital to have your mind open to both scenarios, because while I don't think it's likely personally, if bulls just continue to control and ETFs have to buy and this, that, and the other thing, and we're going to be at 100,000 in 2 months, then you don't want to, one, get wrecked shorting it because you've got a bear bias that we've got to pull back down, and two, don't want to miss out on the upside, because some people might be saying, well, how can I buy here now? We're already so far off the lows, 200% off the lows. You make an entry, you put your stop in, you see if it sticks. You play a back burner, you play off an EMA, and you see if it sticks. And a perfect example, we'll do a little trade review of something Goatman Dan did yesterday. It was right in here after the initial move on the fake approval headline where the SEC's Twitter got hacked. We were able to see very clearly that, okay, well, this relationship is changing with ETH. And it happened at 4 p.m. and Dan made an entry on this 5-minute consolidation. And you could be saying like, oh, well, 5-minute RSI is overbought. 15-minute RSI. Let's see if we can find our spot here. Where were we? That was right here. 15-minute RSI overbought seems risky. Dan just said, I'm going to find a 5-minute higher low, try to play off of it. He entered in here. He put his stop below 2,300 and just left it. And now is in a very nice green Ethereum position. So that's the mindset. And if we pulled on back and fell through here, he would have stopped out. He would have said, I'm wrong. This isn't it. But he found a spot, took his entry, put his stop in, and then saw what happened. So that's, you never know if you're gonna buy the top, and that's the end of the show. And really the only way to find out is to get in there. You certainly want to manage your risk so that if you do buy the top, you don't get wrecked. But that was something that one of our longtime members and absolute amazing traders, Mr. F, said back in the 2021 crypto run. He was like, you never know if it's going to be the top. Only way to find out is buy and stick a stop in. You got plenty of entry opportunities. And just looking at like this 5-minute on ETH, every one of these EMA tests can be an entry opportunity. Is it going to be the one that falls through? We don't know. That's why we manage our risk. I gotta let my cat in real quick 1 second. He's clawing the screens. Come on in, baby. Come on. Welcome. All right. Let's see what else we got in here. Is that some love for the Lions? Oh no. We go live from Karam Ball. Yeah, late night streaming. All right, from D Cypher. Hi Joey, since the ETF will obviously be open shorter hours than BTC, futures or spot, do you think we will be able to gain clues to how the ETFs will open based on those? Yeah, I would assume that the ETFs will open up wherever Bitcoin ends up ends up trading at overnight. It will be kind of like the S&P 500 and futures. So if we can look at a very recent example here. So futures overnight, looking at ES futures, saw 4-hour consolidation overnight, and we opened up much lower than where we closed. Well, if we look at the S&P 500 and we go to the daily time frame, you can see we had closed at the highs, and because futures consolidated overnight, SPY ended up opening up at those lows. So I'm assuming that's how that relationship will work with those. Rob is in the camp of ETH ETF speculation. It's sure looking like that. And, you know, speaking of alt season, you know, this type of move on BTCD, that's what you want to see in an alt season. Like if we look back to the crazy run through 2021, you know, that's an alt season when you've got just pure dominance on Bitcoin dominance. So is this the beginning of something like that? Far, far, far too early to say. What would we need to do to really crack things? I'd say we need to lose the monthly 12 EMA. We'd need to lose the monthly 12 EMA, and that would be like a quarterly lower high shaping up, or not a quarterly, because we're technically in, well, not a quarterly uptrend. We could probably just use the 6-month. Say that's a 6-month lower high shaping up on dominance. You know, got that 12 EMA that topped us out before the 2021 run. So I would love an alt season, that is for sure. But we'll see what we get. But yes, once Litecoin pumps, that's when you got to batten up the hatches, tighten up your stops. A tale as old as time in the crypto space. Phil, thanks for the support, man. I know I'm no charting man, Dan, but I will say I have basically given up every semblance of a normal life over the past 7 years to try to just do what Dan does. I know a lot of people when they learn to or start trading, they want to try out a bunch of different stuff. And I got lucky to find Dan early, and I was just like, okay, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. This guy's obviously got it figured out. I'm going to do what he does and just doing that. So I'm happy to be able to, you know, bring a little bit of Dan's insight. Obviously, there's no replacing Dan or filling his shoes or anything like that, but happy to be able to give a Dan proxy when Dan is out living his best life. Let's see, do I think JTO could be making a potential breakout? Let's take a peek, my friend. Yeah, we'll do the Binance. So okay, so this is one of those baby coins. Yeah, it's just now getting the weekly higher low set here. So we had our daily downtrend, daily 12 EMA, and we now have a daily uptrend, and we're getting over that. So it's not wildly convincing at this point, but it's not wildly not convincing because it pretty much just happened on that last 4-hour candle. So if bulls are going to see a breakout on JTO, they're going to have to keep this daily uptrend intact. They're going to need to see multiple days of follow through. If we were to enter daily consolidation today, I get a little tripped up because, you know, we're on the Thursday candle, so that's today, but, you know, obviously it's still Wednesday. But if this Thursday candle were to enter daily consolidation, then that would be a daily uptrend without follow through, and that would squash hopes of JTO follow through on this weekly higher low. Let's see. Yeah, this thing is volatile. Wow. So even a weekly bounce could be 50%. I would say due to the depth of the pullback of 73%, that we'll be looking for that weekly lower high. And, you know, I'm on log, and with the listing move, it kind of skews it. But if we, that's not it. If we turn off log, we can see very much so a weekly lower high is the most likely scenario. So it's going to be all about that daily uptrend. And if the daily uptrend is going to see follow through, we got to get a 4-hour higher low. We got to hold these 4-hour EMAs and then get back through 210. All right. Meta Aesthesia. I know I just botched that, but ETF hype is what's up. I know a lot of people have been stalking this and waiting for it and looking for it for so long, and it's here. It's here. I just didn't think that Bitcoin would look like this. You know, I didn't think that this would be the ETF action. I was prepared, honestly. Let me go to my other chart where I've got my targets. I was like, you know what? My ideal situation looking for a sell the news is a short off this value area low. Get a big spike up, get a 1 minute stair step, and then just dump it all back. And it's kind of just like, poking it with a stick, looking for it to do something. So these levels are still doing work here. And I guess while we're looking at it, we can talk next resistances. This first one here at 47.9, right off of one of those value area extremes. And then we've got this value area high up here at 49.4, we'll say. And if bulls can get through that, then there really isn't much from a volume profile perspective up until that 56K. And to zoom on out so you can see where these pulls are from, it's just these balance areas where price goes sideways. It's where you do your fixed range volume profile. You mark up your value area high, your value area low, you drop a line on the POC, and it's freakish how these things come into play. So Lamont, as anybody who's in the chart guys knows, absolute wizard with this stuff, and he's the one that taught me all this. I'm super grateful that he did, because it's, people look for like the secret, the magic indicator, or the whatever in trading. And if there were such a thing, it would be volume profile. So he actually did a webinar with Dan. If you go into the YouTube channel and type in swing trading with volume profile, you'll see Lamont and Dan talk about this stuff together. But absolutely gangbusters. All right, looks like we got this hourly higher low trying to shape on up. We did not get the inverse head and shoulders. Bulls just went right through 5 minute lower high. So we've got a 5 minute stair step, and bulls will still, despite it not being the inverse head and shoulders, still going to need a 5 minute trend change if we're going to get that hourly higher low set on up. Let's see, taking a look at AVAX for Simon Shav, AVAX USDT. I believe it's another daily lower high name. That is true. Let me get these lines off here. So yeah, AVAX, it's actually another one of the 2-day lower high crews where we had the outside bar on Wednesday's candle. So ADA, Sol, both in that same category. So zooming out to the 2-day, and we'll say anything below 43.44, going to be a 2-day lower high, similar with the potential 2-day inverse head and shoulders to shape up a weekly higher low off the 12 EMA. So still a lot of space below weekly resistance, 30%. So it's in the bear category for sure, but no doubt we're bouncing right now, and you can't knock on bulls if you're still holding the weekly 12 EMA. So 4 hour, we don't technically have an uptrend. Let's find some clarity. Got an hourly uptrend, hourly consolidation underway. Going to be watching responses to backburners. And while this isn't like a technical backburner, because you really need a big old move to get the technical backburner, and this isn't it, we can still watch oversold conditions and see if those are marking our higher lows. So if we're looking at all of these alts and first 5 minute oversold marks hourly higher lows into higher highs, we can say, okay, this is a very bullish environment. If 5 minute oversold doesn't do diddly, then we can say, okay, well, maybe we need to remind ourselves that we're looking for these daily or 2-day lower highs. So can always evaluate with that. Let's see. Rob asking, isn't JTO doing another airdrop? I have no clue, sir. I have no clue. Let's look at CRO for Rui. CRO USDT. We'll just do USD on Coinbase. Zoom on out. So CRO, we'll turn back on logs so we can get some perspective. We got monthly consolidation underway. We know a lot of alts don't have that underway, so that puts it in a weaker category there. We still will be looking for a monthly higher low though. Got a weekly downtrend. Anything below 1076 going to be a weekly lower high. Got this, it's another 2-day lower high crew with the outside bar on Wednesday's candle. So 2-day bounces underway, but that same 1076, anything below that would be a 2-day lower high. And if bulls want to change anything, they need to regain a 2-day uptrend or a clear daily uptrend, whatever time frame you want to look with that. But after riding on up for a while, definitely some weakness here, one of the weaker coins. So if you're looking bear, you kind of want to be picking on these weaker coins, to be honest. I know you're probably here as a crow bull, but not the best looking chart. But again, monthly higher low is going to be the most likely scenario, and that's similar to Link. Link is weaker in that it's got monthly consolidation underway, but it's looking for a monthly higher low. And we're now seeing a pretty solid bounce here after the loss of the weekly uptrend, seeming like it doesn't have follow through. So is that a monthly bull flag? If it is, step one is going to be regaining a daily uptrend. So you always have to make sure that you specify what time frame you care about these things on, because you can be a bigger picture Link bull looking for the monthly higher low, but also a shorter time frame Link bear looking for the daily lower high. It doesn't have to be so black and white. A lot of people want to keep things black and white, but the fractal nature of this game is you can be bearish on the daily, or I guess in this context, bullish on the daily right now, but about to be bearish on the daily, while being bearish on the monthly, but thinking about being bullish on the monthly. It's all fractal nature, and that's normal. And I think a lot of people want to be all bear or all bull, but it's just relative to whatever time frame you are looking at with that. All right, T Blizzy, I'm glad that the fake Dan is scratches that itch. It's actually kind of funny. I was over at Dan's house right after I finished the ChartGuys stream at 4 to go feed Sweetie Pants, his dog. And I was thinking that there was going to be Bitcoin like fireworks with the ETF stuff. So I was making plans to stream at his computer in his office. And I thought that was going to be pretty funny. Tell everybody I got Dan tied up in the basement or something like that. But didn't end up going that route because there wasn't a lot going on. So I was just like, we'll do a late night stream. We'll see how things shake on out and see what we're working with after a little more digestion of all of this. And turns out still not a lot. All right. Did Link Ria, my pleasure. All right. Jason is putting some serious fighting words. Dan's going to read that. I cannot condone that blasphemy. Thanks, Miles. I appreciate it, sir. Let's see what else we got. Fat Nuts is back in the house. Come on, guys. Everyone smash that like button. He's doing a great job. I appreciate it, Mr. Nuts. And that is right, because Dan is ruthless, as everybody knows, and he will fire me if we don't get 100 likes. All right. Yeah, probably going to look to wrap it on up here. We got some cat talk. Yeah, dude, Brett, that's exactly it. Clawing at the screen, can't wait a second, and then just saunters on in so freaking slow. The kitty's name is Harrison. He is Harrison, and he is a cool little dude. He's my best friend. All right. For Cube, can I take a look at Optimism? It's testing all-time highs. I'm guessing that's OP, USDT. I really only know things by their tickers. Yep. So OP, talked about it a little bit earlier in the stream. We're testing all-time highs. We are coming straight off the low. And what bulls want ideally here, and this is kind of one of the things in trading, where sometimes or oftentimes patience pays, but you don't want to rush these moves. And if bulls want optimal follow through on OP getting to all-time highs, they want to reject from resistance first. You don't want to be running from so far away to that brick wall. That's the analogy Dan uses for it. Like, think of resistance just as a brick wall. And if you're running from a mile away to try to break through, you're going to be gassed. By the time you get there, you might not break through. You might just break through and then fall down out of exhaustion. But if you are coming from a mile away and then you get to relax for 4 hours, 100 yards from the wall or 30 yards from the wall, charge up and then break through. That's what you want to see. So for OP here, bulls want to chill out, see a daily bull flag, and then go back up and break it. Cool off RSI levels, relax a little bit, gather yourself, and then go break it. And if that were to happen, that would be a daily cup and handle there. So in the shorter term, we've got a 4-hour uptrend as our guide. So anything over this 351.7 going to be a 4-hour higher low next consolidation. Sage, that's an honor saying that I am a Dan disciple, and that's accurate. He's one of my absolute favorite humans on the planet, and he's, you know, I idolize Dan like everybody else does, and I joined TheChartGuys just seeing him on the weed stock subreddit, and you know, some people say never meet your heroes because it's just disappointing, but then I met Dan and moved down here and you know, lived very an intertwined life with Dan, and the guy is the real deal. He's the real deal. Whenever the pressure's up, he does the right thing. He's got, you know, just stellar character, and it's not a show that he puts on. So I couldn't be more honored to work with somebody like that, and to not have my dreams just crushed by him being a jerk or something like that. He's the real deal. Let's see, Jamal, can you share your crypto screener video when you get a chance? Yeah, I'll share my crypto screener right now. Let me pull it up here. It's the chart guys. And that's the beauty of being in this community, is that you know, I don't know, if we go to the alt room, look at everybody over and on top of all of these alts. People are just on top of it. So I have the liberty of not needing to screen, because if there's something juicy going on, people are going to pull it up. And we have members like Rob G, who, let me see if I can find one of his bubbles posts. We won't waste time on it, or not waste time, but we won't use time on it. He uses like the crypto bubbles thing. So he'll post in the morning and you see the bubbles of what names are performing well, which ones aren't. And it's just this collaborative effort from everybody to track down the action, see which ratio charts are popping, see which names are viable for backburners. Like even, you know, pull it back over here. If we look in the crypto main channel, so we have BTC, LTC, ETH in one channel, and then the rest of the alts in the other. And, you know, we've got Mike posting backburners and his game plan and observations of backburners. So it's a collaborative effort. You know, we're individually pressing the buttons and dealing with the consequences of those button presses, but we work as a unit. So it's a blessing to have so many people, so many eyes on things, where if something happens, you know, people immediately were on top of, all right, ETH has relative strength right now in a way that we haven't seen in a while. And that's what led to Dan making his ETH entry. And actually, you can see here, you know, people, I get the shock of Dan not being on the normal schedule now, but here Dan at 8:04, just 5 minutes ago on vacation, exiting half of his ETH. It's posted right in chat. And, you know, it's an asset as an active trader, having so many eyes, so many, just so many people working on this game together. All right, XRP, let's take a look. XRP USDT, another daily lower high gang name. I guess a 2-day lower high, same outside bar for that Wednesday candle. So anything below 64.05 would be a 2-day lower high. Let's look at some bigger structure on here. So we're looking for a monthly high or low. We have a monthly equilibrium. Low, high, higher low, lower high. Bulls trying to shape up a higher low compared to 4226. We have got a weekly tightening range bear break now without much follow through. So that could be the first sign of that higher low. So aggressive bulls looking for that are going to be scouting a 2-day higher low next consolidation. Aggressive bears right now are looking for a 2-day lower high, looking for that daily consolidation as well there. So got not much clarity on the 4-hour. You could say a 4-hour uptrend. Let's find another time frame. I like the hourly uptrend. Anything over 56.08 going to be a higher low. And there was some news on Ripple. Let's see, you know, talking about Mr. F earlier here. He can come to the spotlight some more. Posted at 11:02, Ripple to buy back 285 million of its shares from investors. I'm not really sure what that's related to, but that did end up giving some volatility. I believe it was here. Yeah, so news was, let's get the exact minute of it, see how tuned in Mr. F is right now. So 10:57 is that news, and 11:02, he's got the juice for us. So another just prime example of the beauty of working in a team for all of this stuff. So many eyes on all of this. There's the Go Lions. Andrew, thank you, fellow Michigan brethren. We'll see. Sunday gonna be big. Sunday gonna be big. Integrity Pavement Solutions, your source for asphalt management, is telling everybody to hit that like button. Thank you, sir. Hulk Smash, Parka, thank you. And let's take a look at ARB for the maintenance man himself. Type that in wrong. ARBUSDT. So ARB, we are up in blue skies. Got that weekly stair step all the way up here, and the daily, or this is a 2-day 12 EMA as our guide. So ARB continuing strong, pushing in. I think it's the only one, at least that I've got on my list right now, that is actually in blue skies. We've got several very close, but definitely seeing that strength continue. We've got 157 going to be most important support, little daily stair step as well, and 4 hour is pretty much stair stepping. So that's probably hourly 12 EMA rider. Yep, hourly 12 EMA. So as long as hourly 12 EMA is support, 4 hour consolidation isn't getting underway in any notable fashion, and we'll have lots of room for a 4 hour higher low, and it's going to be same shtick as everybody else. Got to keep your uptrends intact, and we've got a ton of room for higher lows on all time frames with this thing. For Parka, what do I expect from Bitcoin tomorrow? I've got no expectations, my friend. Just going to take what the charts give us. I think it's important to, paint your different scenarios of, do we get a buying frenzy on Bitcoin? And, I'll have a game plan for that. Or is it going to end up being like a, hey, welcome to Bitcoin, and everything dumps? I'll have a game plan for that. But neither of those things are going to happen without seeing clues that that's what's happening along the way. And that's the beauty of technical analysis, is it allows you to quantify what's going on so you can actually evaluate systemically as opposed to evaluate with emotion. So I've got no clue what's going to go on tomorrow, and predicting stuff is not my shtick and never will be. Let's see, Dlee Crypto, I'm a Browns fan from Ohio. I hope it's Brown versus Lions in the Super Bowl. Wouldn't that be epic? Two of the biggest turd teams through the 2000s seeing some revival. I would welcome that as well. All right, everybody, that's it for the stream here. Let's get one check in on Bitcoin, one check in on ETH. So the hourly higher low still trying to shape up. Bull's going to need to break 721 to get that hourly higher low set on Bitcoin, and ETH still just hourly stair stepping up. So we have got 5-minute 12 EMA was lost, but no follow through, as bears couldn't confirm well, I guess they were coming off of a 5-minute downtrend. So let's see, 15-minute 12 EMA in play now. So that'll be the main thing I'm watching in the short term on ETH. Let's see, Lizard, how to cope with taking profits too early, even if they are a substantial gain. You just have to, well, there's a couple things. We're all humans, and we're going to feel emotions when something like that happens, but we've got to remind ourselves that in this game, the goal is to just catch pieces of the pie along the way. And if you can do that consistently, you will get as many gains as you want. We're never going to just sell the top and buy the bottom consistently. That's not how the game works. So got to be real with ourselves and understand that. And as far as lessening that emotion, I feel like the more confidence you have in your trading, the less you feel FOMO, the less you feel like, oh, I should have held longer or done this or done that, because you have the confidence that I can find another entry or I can find another trade. because there's always opportunity. There will always be additional trades, and it's part of the game. It's a normal part of the game, so got to start getting acquainted with that feeling, because it doesn't serve us to allow ourselves to fall into a negative mindset. Like, everybody knows how psychologically challenging this game is, and we can't make it more difficult for ourselves by being hard on ourselves and having unrealistic expectations and whatnot like that. I mean, I just had it today and yesterday on NQ. I absolutely nailed this 4-hour higher low. I sold out, somewhere in here, and now looking at it continuing to run. Am I feeling like, oh, dang it, I should have held or done this and done that? There's still stuff to learn. I need to get better at managing runners and being patient with runners and walking up stops and letting them do their thing. It's not like we ignore these lessons, but am I saying, you're stupid or this or that? No, I was in for a trade. I had like a few day maker on the bounce. That was good for me. And I moved on, because you can just do it again the next day. So got to be chill with that. Let's see. That is that. Oh, fast. Sorry to say Lions going to get kicked out by Packers, but good luck on Sunday. Oh, that would be classic Lions fashion. That would be classic Lions fashion. Lots of heartbreak over there. Let's see. Sage. Joey, are you making enough to live off of trading alone yet? I am, but I don't live off of trading alone. I've got the gig with TheChartGuys, and it's a big psychological help. I think the reason that I am making enough to live off of trading alone is because I'm not living off of trading alone, because I did live off of trading alone for some years. It really, until I got the gig with TheChartGuys, which I think was a couple years ago now. So I was probably living off of trading alone for 3 years prior to that, and it's stressful, man. And you talk about what Lizard asked of how to cope with taking profits too early. Well, when I was living off of trading alone, that stuff would gut me, and losses would gut me. It was so much more difficult. And then when I got the side gig with TheChartGuys, it completely changed my psychology and allowed my trading to excel, because I wasn't so dependent on the trading. It's difficult to get in the flow state when you have, genuine fears of losing money, because your livelihood depends on it. So side gig was an absolute game changer for my trading and allowed it to excel to the next level. All right. For Parka, what platform to trade crypto in the US? Unfortunately, there's not too many good ones. Coinbase is probably the best. You've got FDIC insurance there, which is big. You can't short, you can't leverage, and that's the primary one. Some folks are liking Kraken as well. You can get some leverage on Kraken, and you can't short on Kraken, but you got to tell them that you have like a $10 million net worth or something crazy like that. But if you tell them, they just say, oh, cool, sounds good. So I know Devin, another ChartGuys legend, is on Kraken and enjoying it a good bit, but Coinbase is the standard. So, all right, everybody, we got to 101 likes. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you want more stuff like this and you're not subscribed to the channel, you should definitely subscribe, because we do a bunch of live streams and we've got thousands of videos on YouTube that you can go back. They're all free and learn pretty much everything that you need to know in the game. So check us out if you haven't. If you have, thank you for being here. We wouldn't be doing this if y'all weren't watching. So appreciate everybody that tuned in. Hope everybody keeps safe and is enjoying the excitement, and we'll stay on top of whatever we get from here. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.